All right, man. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Money Markets. This is actually Africa Market Report. We are about to get in terms of what's going on in Africa, about how the market is moving, and as well as a couple of stories that has been happening in a market around Africa countries. And these are stories that are actually affecting the market, whether it's a geopolitics, whether it's a politic itself, whether it's environmental situation. We're gonna try to go on and see what exactly it's cooking in terms of Africa market. Of course, we're gonna have also the reference in terms of where you can be able to see this news, so that you can capitalize and be up to date in terms of how the market is going, in Africa. All right. So first of all, we're gonna have to go in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and actually look in terms of how the market is looking in terms of this morning about the stocks in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Yeah, all right, man. So first of all, we are looking in terms of the shares in terms of Johannesburg Stock Exchange. It's one of the biggest stock exchange when it comes to when it comes to Africa. So definitely we have to pay attention how the stocks are actually performing. So I'm looking at all properties. It's actually down 8.549 at the moment, pushing down minus negative 0.62%, pushing the price down. All shares again negative 0.66% down from 78,729 per share price. Kept shareholder weight top 40. These are top 40 companies that are listed in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Their stock, their indice itself, it's actually pushing the price down. We can see 0.65% down, 20,911 per stock price in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. We are seeing top 40, 72,067, 0.68% drop. Now, we are looking at all these in terms of the market in Africa, especially Johannesburg Stock Exchange, showing the drop, showing the losing of momentum in the market. You can see the BVT, we're seeing INP again. All those instruments in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, they are actually pushing the price all the way down. So that's what exactly is happening in terms of in South Africa when it comes to Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Now, why these stocks are actually pushing the price down? Because that's where there's actually a bigger news or bigger understanding to understand why these prices are actually losing the momentum in the market. So to be frankly, when it comes to the stocks that are actually listed in Johannesburg Stock Exchange, they actually go along with the value of the rand itself. The value of the rand itself. So if the value of the rand is actually depreciating, most of the company, remember the companies from here, they actually make money in rands, not in dollars. Some, yes, they make in dollars, but mostly it's actually in rands. So the value of the rand, if it's actually depreciating in the market, it means the shares that are registered in stock exchange, in Johannesburg Stock Exchange, they are not making much more in terms of the value of the rand. So okay, let's look at in terms of how the rand is actually sitting at particular time, so that we can know why this stock price they're actually how the rand is actually performing at the moment. We are actually okay, we are looking at the USD index. This is a dollar index that measures the value of the dollar. Here it's the rand. Let me move this thing. Okay, here's the rand now. Look at the spiking of the rand. The rand right now is sitting at 18 rand 30 cents to a dollar. Now, I want to go back to very, very interesting part that I want to show you guys, how a lot of stocks, they are actually depreciating in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. In South Africa, there was election a couple of weeks ago, right? And from the election, I think it's from the 5th of June, we saw the gaining of the momentum in terms of rand to a dollar. It was at 19 rand 15 cent. It pushes the price all the way down to 17 rand 92 cent. If you look at it, even below 17 rand 92 cent. If you look at it, goes below to 17 rand 87 cents. If you look at it, right? So the reason why is because of the politics that was happening, and you end up the leading party like ANC didn't get the majority, so that they can be able to be the rule. But because of they were actually trying to form the corroboration or combining with the DA Democratic Alliance. So most of the people in the market, they were giving the confidence that the rand will perform well because of combination of DA. DA, it's one of the white party here in South Africa, and the reason why there's a confidence because of majority of people that have money around here in South Africa, they are actually white people. So definitely, if a white party get involved in a government, it will favors them. So that's why we see this trend of pushing the price all the way down to come to the 17 rand 87 cents. 17 rand 87 cents. Since then, the president was elected through parliament. It was inaugurated and become a president, but there's still tensions amongst the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance in terms of the agreement of what they will agree. So because of a little bit of stability of that politics, we now that's where we are seeing the rand moving from 17 rand 87 cents, starting pushing the price up, right? It goes all the way to 18 rand 30 cent at particular time. Yesterday it closes at 18 rand 38 cents. Now it's sitting at 18 rand 30 cents. There's a higher possibility, if there's not going to be announcement of the ministers anytime soon, or in terms of agreement anytime soon, that the rand can go to 1860 to 1890, or even back to 19 rand per dollar. So these are the things that are actually driving the stocks at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange to push the price all the way down, because of an instability of the government that is being formed, which is called the Government of National Unity. So that's about the rand and about Johannesburg Stock Exchange, but we're gonna go more in terms of the other countries in. All right, we continue with the Africa market report. We are actually jumping in a different area in terms of Africa, and just to see the other news, how it's been actually performing. Pretty much these 2 weeks, the biggest news that comes, in West Africa, it's Kenya, regarding the protest of people that they've been, protesting in Kenya there. So the article, you can find it on the CNBC. I'm gonna try to put it there up there so that you can be able to see it. Kenya braces for the fresh protest despite the president tax climb down. So what it says is that Kenya police put up roadblocks on a street leading to the presidential palace on a Thursday, as some of the protest vows to occupy a state house, despite the president clamped down on a proposal, a tax hike that sparked a week of demonstration. It was not clear how far the protest would be mollified by the President William Ruto Wednesday the decision to withdraw the financial bill, and a day after crashes killed at least 23 people and saw a parliament being stormed bravely. So this is really, really, a big news when it comes to Kenya. So what happened is Kenya have actually, a loan with the International Monetary Fund, and I think this loan has been approved recently when President of Kenya William Ruto go to United States to have a dinner or lunch with Joe Biden. That's where they signed these agreements. And what happened when he came back, immediately he actually, increased in terms of tax, right? So he increased the tax so that people can be able to pay more. I'm looking for Vaseline. So that people can be able to pay a little bit of more, and they can be able to pay back in terms of the loan that actually have. So people from Kenya saw things going up, product, things that they use like bread, milk, oil going up for over 16%, and which is really, really high. If you actually consider 16%, it's a lot. And people decided to go in the street and start actually protesting. So 2 days ago, President of Kenya William Ruto announced that he's going to release the military to protect the sovereignty of Kenya. He did that, and you see that a lot of people are actually, injured, died 28, 23 people. Killed at least 23 people. So according to the calculation, at least 23 people have killed with this. Then today, he actually come, I think on today is the 27th of June. He actually come to say that he's gonna overlook for the bill that is signed, a financial bill that is gonna increase the tax, and maybe he's gonna be able to cancel it. But this thing has been going on to a different regions in terms of Africa. A lot of region they are actually taking money from International Monetary Fund, and when it comes to payback, it becoming really, really, a challenge, because of you have to increase the tax, and some of these countries you find out that they're actually depending on a small business. They don't depend on working class. There's no much in terms of jobs whereby people they can pay tax and so on. So they're gonna depend on a small businesses. And now if you're gonna increase the price of the product or put a little bit of tax on those products, that means those small businesses they're gonna die. When they want to stock the product, it's gonna be a little bit high, and they're gonna sell at a little bit of a higher price. Now there won't be any consumer, to actually buy on those products. So that's coming from Kenya. We already talked about South African consumer confidence recover in a second quarter, that survey says, but we already talked about how the rand is performing, including the stocks from Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Here is another one. IMF, International Monetary Funds, approved $570 million in Zambia payout, increase loan to 1.7 billion. So that's another issue regarding money, International Monetary Funds, and a lot of regions, a lot of people from a lot of countries from Africa, they're taking this money, and it's a challenge because you're gonna have to pay back. So right, let's look to another story. Okay, so the another story coming from Uganda. So this one, it's a little bit of U10. We see in a different type of regions, they're taking money from World Bank, are taking money from International Monetary Fund. So Uganda, the president of Uganda, I think a lot of people know him, Museveni. President Museveni, Yoweri Museveni. So Uganda signed a deal with the UAE to build a third international airport, right? In Kampala, Uganda has signed a pact with a business associated from the United Arab Emirates to build a new international airport. President office says the deal for the East African national third such airport expand to UAE economy footprint beyond its interest in the renewable energy and oil gas in industry. The EU Sharik Chamber of Commerce and Industry will build the airport just outside the Kirapo National Park in the northern nearest Uganda border with Kenya. Museveni offices said that on a statement. The construction will start in August, said Abdul Sultan, a chairman of Sajar business body. The airport will boost tourism by drawing visitors to the 1,442 square kilometers to 557 square miles. Kidepo Park, known for lions, giraffes and buffaloes and other big names. The agreement was a sign of the deepening relationship with the Gulf partners and another opportunity to cooperate in investment and trade, Museveni says. So they're taking now money from United Arabs, to build the airport, and that airport should be able to bring a little bit of, tourist attraction because of exactly the specific area that they actually set up this. They want to set up the airport is the area where they can find, things that attract the tourist attraction, like big fives of the animals. People, they can go there and maybe find the, parks where they can see these big fives. So that's what comes from East Africa. Most of stories that I'm seeing, it's actually, Ghana reaches agreement in a principle of 13 billion bond rework. It's all about the African countries taking money from, a different region, right? Or different groups from overseas, or different groups from Europe, which is not good in terms of how we're going to pay back. And we're already seeing the example that is happening in Kenya currently at present right now. All right. The other stories that I heard about the news, people being confused about what exactly we should be able to save our money, or what type of good investment should be able to do at particular time, depending on how things are actually going. So some people, they're saying no, you must take it out the money in rands and save it in different currencies, the currency that is being stable, and so on and so forth. But to me, it feels like really, really it's difficult at this particular time, because of most major currencies right now. There's trouble there. There's a lot of problems. We are seeing in France, they're gonna have elections in a couple of days or a week coming, and already the president of France, Macron, warned people that if he's not gonna win, they're gonna have a civil war. They're already saying that the election is gonna be a snap election, so it's gonna be a civil war if he's not gonna win. Again, we saw in terms of the global market how the France currency is starting depreciating, because of the investors are not confident enough to be able to continue investing in that area. Again, in 2 weeks' time, there's Britain and England, they are voting. We don't know that it's Sunak is gonna still remain as a prime minister, or they're gonna be a different prime minister coming in. There's a lot of conference there. There's a lot of conflict between people and as well as the government, because of the geopolitics that is happening, in Gaza and Israel. So would you put the money in British pounds? I don't know, because of you don't know how the government is gonna perform in the next 2-3 weeks. Would you put your money in a Swiss franc, which is in France? I don't know, because Macron is talking about civil war if he lose. So where else you can keep your money, and your money being stable, if you don't want to keep it in rands here, because of the inflation, or because of how the rand is fluctuating at the moment. All right, even if we go look into Japanese yen, which is one of the strongest currency in the world, Japan. China have agreed with Japan in terms of the military forces. Immediately after the agreement of the military forces, what happened? America has put an eye to Japan. They said, announced that now we're gonna put an eye to Japan, to start looking at Japan, what exactly they are doing. Now, at the same time, the investors, they start panicking. We saw the Japanese yen start dropping from the market, right? So would you put your money in a Japanese yen? We don't know. Would you take your money, put it in dollar? We have no idea, right? Because of today, it's even the debate between Donald Trump and as well as Joe Biden. There wanna be election in November. In 3-4 months time, they're gonna be election of the United States. Right now, a dollar is not even performing that much well. There'll always be fluctuation. The dollar index is getting to 104, 105, coming to 100, 95, coming back again to 103. So it's been a tough in terms of the dollar itself. The Federal Reserve of US, they're not cutting the rates. The rates are still remaining and the way it was since during the COVID-19. All right. So would you put your money in dollars? I have no idea. People, they're talking about Bitcoin. We actually Bitcoin already since last year they've been having some crazy scandals that Bitcoin hasn't been stable since then. Since the founder and the CEO of Binance being fined for using their companies in Germany without regulations, they're actually the Bitcoin that it did go up, but now it's starting now retracing back from 60 something thousand dollars per Bitcoin. Now it's sitting at 40 something. Do we think with all these politics and geopolitics and election, Bitcoin will continue goes up? I'm not sure, but I believe that maybe it might drop a little bit. So we're living in a crazy times when it comes to where you can invest and where you should keep your money. If you want to go to properties and invest in properties, the rates are keeping going up. There's no cutting of the rates. So how much are you gonna pay? Even if you are doing the business in the properties, how much profit are you gonna make if the rates are continuing keeping up, or if the rates hasn't been dropped since 3 years? People have been waiting to drop the rates over over during the COVID-19. So it's been crazy, but yeah, we'll get the answers by time goes. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching Africa Market Report. Subscribe, watch the video, share with other guys. Thank you. This is Che Yusuf.